What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of Room 518 with my boy DANT and me, T-Rail, also known as Big Kountry, man. We look forward to having this conversation with you, man. We got some good stuff on the platter today. We're gonna discuss dating and the current dating cycle that we're in, man. So that's what we're gonna kind of open up at. But first, let's start off with a little bit of weekly review. Dant, what's been going on with your week, man?
Man, it's been kind of a busy week. A little bit of a lot of it was pretty, normal fodder, the regular day-to-day stuff, work, spending time with your family, this and that. I was just coming from actually an event. I know I worked early ed for a long time early on
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
career, and
yeah.
so the director of the center I worked at retired today, or she had an event for her retirement. And so I went, and it was so many people there, from over my time being there, so me and the wife and the kid went, and it was cool. Neither one of us had been there really since I left 5 years ago. And so
Man,
so it was cool to kind of see everybody, and they were really amazed at how big the kid had gotten, because he was 8 years old the last time we were there, you know, and so to just see how he's grown and how we've all changed. Well, mostly I haven't changed,
man, you
but
changed the haircut, bro. You changed
yeah,
the
yeah, I
haircut.
think people were commenting on that, but
I
and the
remember when
fact
I
that I
went
look
to
a little
yeah,
bit bigger,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I'm gonna
but
say you done changed
but
now.
Yeah, but for the most part, I guess they were saying, "Oh, you still look exactly the same." But I think it was good to kind of see everybody and be in that element again. And just I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It was really some good Friday nostalgia. What's been up with you?
Man, not much, bro. Really, this week has been at home sick week, man. I had to call out yesterday because my lady was sick, so the baby had to be tended to a little bit more. I keep her in the day anyway, and then I work nights when I'm not doing like my home improvement stuff. But this
Hmm.
week has been real rough because it's been like me and baby girl all the way out the whole week, which has been it's cool, man. Because I do like spending time with my daughter.
Of
But,
course.
we're just trying to we were keeping mom away from her because mom was real sick. So, we back in business though. She feeling a little bit better today. She still can't talk though. She can't. Like I've probably
Bless.
spent
Oh.
like $60, $60, $70 on cold medicine this week, bro. Like, oh, that shit
Hmm.
ain't work. Try something else. This tea ain't work. Try something else. You know what I mean? Like, cause
I know how that is. Yeah.
she caught it bad, bro. But past that,
It's
bro.
tough when you're down one, you know what I'm saying? Especially when
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's just the two of you really, handling business, and then one of you inexplicably, kind of or suddenly just kind of goes down, you know what I mean?
You
It
know what's
shifts a lot of the balance, but
facts,
we
bro.
pick it up, whoever it is, you pick it up, you put it on your shoulders, you know what I mean?
But that's what family is though, right? Like, cause I've met women, bro, like especially in my profession where you like, this dude ain't giving her no fucking break. He like, look, I make the money, bitch, you do everything.
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah,
like, bro, you
yeah.
killing her, bro. She looks like the life force is being drawn out of her.
Yeah.
She used to be
Right, yeah.
pretty. She looked pretty when I remember when she was
You
pretty.
seem like, oh man, we the
Oh,
same age,
bro.
right?
Huh? Ain't she 2 years younger than you, bro? Bro,
Right.
what
You said we
happened?
went to school together? Oh, shoot.
I do remember her, I think. Like, but yeah,
Mm.
bro, you could tell when even like especially in my field, bro, you get people coming to because I work in the hospital, of course. And you get men come in and they don't know the birthdays of their kids. And I'm like, how the fuck you remember your birthday? Like, you
Yeah.
literally keep looking at her on every question, my boy. Like, you can't look at every question. And she looked beat up, bro. She looked like she been punched in the face with a brick. I'm like, yo, we gotta do better. But so and I will say my lady still get mad at me, man. She never thinks I'm doing enough. But I definitely try to make sure she's taken care of that way. Because I do get it. I get it, that it can be stressful, bro. But you right.
You
When
know,
one person is off,
yes.
you
Well,
don't
I will
really
tell you this though, because I tend to think that all ladies would say that the men in their lives aren't pulling the weight that they are. And I think it's true, but I think it's true to a degree. We're not pulling the same weight. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Uh and I honestly believe that it should be that way. We shouldn't be pulling the same weight. If we doing the same thing, it's a bunch of other stuff that's not getting done. You know what I'm saying? And if it's two of us, we should be maximizing our effort. You know, me doing this and you doing that, and not me trailing behind you or you sweeping up behind me. And I don't always think that the typical or old school roles of man and woman have to apply to today. You know what I
It
mean?
can't apply to
Um,
today. This world is so different, bro. I mean,
yeah,
even when you're just talking about finances, man, like, and one of the biggest things that you hear all the time is, man, I got to pay all the bills. And I'm like, yo, I mean, personally, the family I grew up in, my grandparents didn't even work like that. You know what I mean? Like, but now, like my granddad, even my father, when things got tight, he would definitely go 1,000% harder to figure it out. But it was always him and my mom. You know what I'm saying?
right,
I look at my granddad, my mom, my grandma, my great great grandma. They were all midwives. They all did stuff that was, you know what I'm saying, where they pretty much was what your wife is, you know what I'm saying? A dude, you know what I mean? They made sure they didn't do it to the extent of the professional aspect that your wife does it now because it's actual lane for that, right? But that's what they did, and they also took care of the house. So it was always something. I will say, I think sometimes we drop the ball. Whereas, because I know in my relationship, my lady work. She is a corporate manager. She's busy. You know what I mean. So I do try to make sure if I'm here, I'm gonna cook dinner. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna have her come in the
exactly,
house and cook dinner. And I feel like a lot of guys drop the ball. They're like, you waiting for your lady to get home to cook dinner. Like, my nigga, you can't cook. You can't cook. You had to cook for yourself at some point, So
right,
it's one
right,
of the things like,
right.
no, man, I'm the man. I don't cook. Like, come on, man. Like
That sounds so stupid.
bro, it
You know,
sounds
that sounds
weird,
really
bro.
stupid. You know, but I was saying what I was saying to say, that you sometimes the stuff that men traditionally do is not stuff that women don't factor it in because they're not thinking about it. You know what I'm
Very true.
saying?
Very true.
Uh and I think the same thing is true vice versa. It's some things that are higher priority or at the top of mind for a woman of the house that may not be top of mind for the man of the house. You know, women, I think traditionally, let me say this, are more concerned about the workings and runnings of the house, whereas the man is making sure that the shit works. And the house is
Very
not,
true.
there is a house to maintain. You know what I'm saying?
Very much
Uh,
so. Very much
and
so.
so, because think about it like this, old school rules would dictate that if you get set out of the house, they look at the man. If you got a nasty house,
They
they look
look
at the
at the
woman.
woman.
You see
Man,
what I'm
you know
saying?
what? I ain't never thought about that, but that's exactly how we function, bro. For real. It's crazy that you say that because it's like, dude, when it come to making sure shit work around here, she might get mad at me about something because it's squeaking or you know what I'm saying, it's out of place. I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna get to it. But ultimately though, if some shit break, okay, Terrell, stop what you're doing. We gotta get that shit fixed right now. That shit
Exactly.
can't be broke. You know what I'm saying? Our hot water, our gas went out in the middle of our furnace went out in the middle of the winter.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was like
yeah.
oh no, I don't know I tried to fix it myself, couldn't fix it, replaced a couple things on it, found out I needed a new one, called my homeboy, like we worked on that guy, like, oh, this gotta get done. You know what I'm saying? Like it's either we call the
Exactly.
insurance company and spend a bunch of money, which it was gonna be super expensive, or we do it. You know what I'm saying? So I called my guy, he came over, man, saved about 4,000, saved about 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
So
literally,
yeah, go
huh?
ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
But it's literally, for me, that's that thing, and she may not notice that the same way. I don't know because when I clean up, it ain't never clean enough to her. That's just facts. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not the way she would do it, right? It's different. Yeah.
And it's and that's a big thing. But you know what? You got to respect each other in that space, right?
Absolutely.
It's one of the biggest things about relationships. You got to respect the fact that your perspective is not going to always be what your lady perspective is.
It shouldn't be. There has to be some diversity of thought in there too.
Yeah.
I mean the fundamentals of who y'all are probably align in a lot of ways, y'all ideologies in life,
Yeah. Yeah.
but your approach to things is going to be different, and as well they should be. I mean, there should be some diversity of thought in your home. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you need each other for if you're already thinking the same thing, doing the same thing, everything's, you know what I'm saying? There should be
Bro.
some complimenting going on in there, some
Yo,
give and take, some push and pull, some working
this is
together,
really
some yin
good.
and
This is
yang.
really good. I like where you're going because that kind of leads into today. That I'm sorry, I'm shaking
Okay,
the that really leads into today because we could talk about this for another 30 minutes. But truth of the matter
we
is that
could.
the subject matter for today is dating in current society. Man, I was reading a study. I was reading something on Google. I'm gonna read it real quick so that we're on the same page. It says approximately 45 to 50% of men aged 18 to 25 have never approached a woman in person to ask for a date.
Hmm.
50%, bro.
Wow.
50%. So, now me personally, bro, when I heard that, I was kind of floored because I remember growing. I'm from we from Atlanta, bro. We from the east side of Atlanta. You East Lake Meadows, me Kirkwood, to Glenwood, to Lithonia, you done been all around. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I can remember being 12 years old, bro, when we first started going to the skating ring, your mom would let you go, bro. That was like your rite of passage to learn how to talk to
Man,
girls. You know what I mean? Like you
man,
literally, first time you go, you scared to approach and you looking
man.
at people, bro. And I remember, man, my brother used to chump me off about being not ready to go anyway. And then I had a friend that was my neighbor, bro. He was like 2 years older than me. His name was TJ. He might have been 3 years older than me. But I remember going to the skating ring with him, and he was all about the girls. He was like, bro, go over there, get that number. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm scared out my mind, bro. But
Oh
you
man.
literally learning how to approach. And see, it's not even about like what I did with the number, because I wouldn't call the girls, man. I was too young, bro. But it was about learning to approach, right? Learning
Mm-hmm.
how to set up a conversation to say something to a girl. Bro, to read that, bro, I was really thrown off, man. I was really thrown off. I said, yo, I gotta get with Dan on this because I gotta know where his
Yeah.
perspective lies in the
It's
whole.
a it's a pretty bracing statistic, and I will say this just based on, I told you I was at an event tonight, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids that I worked with at that time, they aren't kids anymore, right?
Mhm.
So two of the director's kids, the two youngest ones, a boy and a girl, right? The middle one is a sister, the younger one is a brother. The brother is 18 now. He was there with his girlfriend. The middle sister was there with her boyfriend. She is 23, I believe.
Okay.
And so the sister and her boyfriend met each other kind of college wise. They don't go to the same college, crossing paths in the same
Okay.
area, this, that, and the
Okay.
other. And they met each other. So that's your
Yeah.
50% over here, right? So
Yeah.
I met the 18-year-old and his girlfriend. I met his girlfriend today, and I said, "Oh, so how'd y'all meet?" And they both looked at each other and went, "Dating app." So me and Kelly looked at each other and was just like, "Whoa!" I mean, because it's just like a different world to us. You know what I mean? I mean, we all came up before the age of the dating app. I mean, they had stuff like that, but we weren't. 18-year-olds weren't on dating apps. You know what I
Well,
mean? eHarmony existed, but that was for people who were, I mean, it felt like people who were a little bit more established. They might have been working on another relationship, or they, were trying to break in on some adult love. I don't know too many people that were eHarmonying that were our age.
well, see,
I think maybe our online dating thing might have been something like an early MySpace or
yeah, that's
something
what I
like
was gonna
that.
say.
You
I
know
was
what
gonna
I'm
say.
saying?
Yeah, you talking Black
Yeah.
Planet. That would have been already.
Yeah.
But when you were on Black Planet, you weren't looking for a girlfriend. You were looking to talk shit and see if you can like you were flirting, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't say that I went on Black Planet like, yeah, this gonna be my girlfriend.
and actually met somebody in person or whatever.
Yeah,
I might
I
have met one
mean,
or two people.
I have too, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be serious, but I can definitely say
Something serious, right? Yeah.
that was the start. But it seems that we're in a generation now that looks like this person can be the person I fall in love with all here. And I'm just like, I don't know about that, bro, because this is my thing about the internet, bro. The internet is like, you know, we're in a generation of entertainment now, man. Everybody is an entertainer pretty much at this point. So whatever you show online is a snippet of the great part of you. It's not the snippet of it's not the who you really are day to day. It's what I am when I'm
Yeah.
at my best all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
out here
Yep.
balling on the internet, but at home, I'm
Right.
struggling to pay these bills. You know what I
Right.
mean? I look like I make $200,000 a year. I only make
Yeah.
35, so it's
Yeah.
like we're
You know,
literally
I go back and forth through it sometimes, because everything you said is true. Those formative years going out, your homeboys gassing you up, you know what I mean? Yeah, go, go out later, blah, blah, just so they can sit back and watch you either come away with a number or crash and burn
and laugh at
you
your
know, then laugh at you when you come back, right?
Yeah,
That kind of stuff had me, you know, anxious and locked down in fear. But when the guys are kind of gassing you up and putting a little bit of wind behind the sails, sometimes that gives you the courage you need to step up and say something. And a lot of
right.
times it goes better than you think it will, but I
And
think now people, they don't have to do it, so they don't. And that art of actually talking to a person, because even I think the times where most times where I did have a give and take or a dialogue with somebody that lasted and maybe turned into something of a situation, uh maybe I wasn't the one that initiated, but you still have to be able to make that transition of them
facts.
coming over or y'all meeting each other in some kind of a way, whether it was because it was always some kind of a way where I didn't walk straight up and say hello. Maybe we were in proximity to each other. I noticed the person looked at me more than once, whatever the case is that kind of gets you to open up the door, and somebody says something, and then there you go. Once the ice is broken, I feel like I could always kind of carry it, to that next level. And I think now people don't have the skill to do that. They don't have that really polished
Correct.
ability to talk with somebody and take the conversation, and carry
Yes.
it into another level and make the transition to maybe, you want to go out sometime, or, I'd like to talk to you again, or whatever the case may be. They don't really have that skill now. And honestly, I don't know how I would do if I ever had to be in an online dating situation. Make sure my profile situation got to be just this much, a little bit of
That's not
you know
happening.
what I'm saying?
That's not happening. I'm like, bro, I got the angles bad. They be like, your angle. My lady tell me all the time, your angles is wrong when you take your pictures. I'm like, what is an angle? I don't even understand. I can't do like this with a camera. You know what I mean? Like, so that feel weird to me, bro. That
It
feel
does. It
female-ish. So
does.
it's like one of those
It
things.
does.
Prime example, bro. When we were in college as freshmen, I'm not gonna mention this guy name because the girl that was involved in this situation would be pissed at me. No, I mentioned his first name, Cal. His name was Cal. I'm not gonna say his full name.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
gonna say it the name. That's his nickname is Cal, because that wasn't really his
Yeah, yeah,
name.
yeah. Yeah,
But
but I'm picking up
I
what you're putting
remember,
down, though.
huh? You said
I
what?
said I'm picking up what you're putting down, though. Yeah, I
Good
got you.
stuff. I'm happy that you're picking it up. But in
Yeah, I
room
got it.
518, I remember coaching. We were freshmen. We coached the upperclassmen who was getting all types of signs thrown at him. And to be truthful with you, if he was in this society, he would be a part of that 50% for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I definitely I remember going, yo, Shawty really like him. and you said, "Yeah, I noticed she really do like him." I'm like, "Yo, she one of the baddest at this school, but she like him." Like,
And choosing on the
yeah, I'm like,
mousiest
"Bro,
dude
the
in school.
dorkiest, like all the way off." And I remember us pulling them into the room, like, "Bro, why you ain't holler at her?" "No, no, man, I don't think she like me like that, man." I'm like, "Bro, shout it, mess with you. Like, what do you say? Have you
Tough.
tried it?" And I remember coaching him up, bro. I remember us coaching him up to the point that we played Art of Noise and like explain how it builds up, bro. Like we were in the room, like, bro, like,
I remember.
because he finally did talk to her, and after a while, she invited him out. And when she invited
Mhm.
him out, bro, we were like, we looking into the future, like, bro, you gotta do this. Come to find out, bro, he sucked at all that. But I do
All of
remember
it.
us having to like
All of it. You remember us helping him with the date, giving him a little bit of dough, helping him get his stuff straight so he could take her out
bro,
and do the
bro, all that. We were freshmen, bro. This dude was a
Yeah,
senior.
yeah.
He was going into his
Yeah,
senior
yeah.
year, bro. But we was giving, but you know what though? I remember at one point, I remember a lot of the young women from school being like, "Oh, I ain't mess with you. You Atlanta nigga. Y'all some players." Like that became a thing. And I was just like, yo, we just know how to talk to women, bro. Like we literally know how to talk. It's not about being a
Yeah.
player. It's about, do you know how to approach somebody and be
Yeah.
be able to create a conversation, man. I know for
But
you
a
though.
lot of times though, that still would be a line too, because if you just like, all right, cool, shot. I mean, we I ain't gonna push it. They still be smiling at you and talking to you. How come you don't say nothing to me no more?
But see, that was
You know what I
happening with
mean?
you, man. That was happening with you, bro. Let's be honest, man. You definitely, this is funny, man, because you weren't approaching too many, bro. But they was definitely looking at you and batting eyes. And you're like, you know what, bro? But you've always been real short tolerance for bullshit. Ain't ever.
Yeah, man. No, I'm not playing no games,
Yeah, I was telling somebody about that not too long ago. What about you? I'm like, bro, man, it was tough.
boy.
When I introduced you to your now wife, you know what I
My
mean?
wife.
You was like, I ain't got time for this shit. I ain't She, bro, y'all went back and forth, but y'all just matched to me, bro. And it's been one of the best things I think it's been one of my proud moments at this point in college.
Man, we talked about this last week after the Quiet as Kept, guys. We had some of the best. We had a great episode last week, and y'all probably will never see it. Unless it just wants to look like I was interviewing Thorell. You'll never hear me or see me. It was only him. Something about it, just we had some technical difficulties where I didn't show up on the video, and it was a fantastic episode. But I was laying it out for Kelly and talking about this, and we got into a little bit about all of our history together, and I was asking her some questions about the behind the scenes. Like I knew that he took you to work, blah blah blah, and this and that, and so she was just kind of filling in some of the back end of the story that I didn't know of. And
Yeah,
we were just like, can you believe that, this one person is at like the linchpin of our whole family? You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
crazy, man. That made my
not
heart.
even just that he introduced us, but, he's the kid's godfather. He, stood up at our wedding with us. He introduced us. Like, without this one particular person, like, none of this may even be at all. So yeah, and like I said, I think I was one of those people that could have been in that 50% that was having a tougher time, but kind of walking straight up to somebody, but because of the time period we were in, I still had the training. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
and that's
I
that's
still
what
had the
I'm talking
training.
about.
Yeah.
Who's giving the training now? Like what big brother is saying, "Hey man, it's what we got to go out. We got to go out, bro." And what you doing when you go out? Because I can be honest, man. The last time I done went out, the guys just stand around, and I mean, and to a certain extent, you would say that we did too as kids. But I definitely didn't mind getting on the floor and dancing. You know what I mean? I
You
think
could
for me,
dance though.
huh, I can't dance good,
You
bro.
could dance. You could. I mean, I remember you going down and doing the whole my pops never locked. You know what I'm saying? I can look, I can stand out there and look cool, but my
I
shit never
think,
worked. And you could do it. And you cut a larger figure too. So you're a big looking dude who could also do it. So, and you got a good, personality,
I
you make
appreciate
people laugh. Like you always had I think you're a super congenial person, and that goes a long way because when people like you and want to be around you, it's easier to make the transition. You see what
I
I'm
agree.
saying? Because they're around you already. They want to be around you. They like hanging around you, and all you really have to do is make the transition. And you're a good
Thank you.
talker. You know what I'm saying? So you are always kind of in the position to make it happen. And you know, uh you never were like by yourself for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
when
that's
we
that's
first
true. That's very
when
true.
we first started rooming together, you already were seeing somebody, which is what put that bug of wanting that in my ear at first. Because I didn't. I was just like, man, this dude, to use an old word, man, this dude be caking, bro. This boy is sitting
Hey,
in
I
this
was
mug.
caking, bro.
Oh
Y'all,
my
matter
God.
of fact, I missed the pajama jam freshman year. I
Man,
missed a whole lot of. It was a
you
whole
missed
lot of
a
young
lot.
ladies. It was a whole lot of. I ain't gonna lie, bro. There's some I will not mention, bro, that were considered like really badass, y'all. That really
Yeah.
was digging me, and I was so oblivious, bro. I was
Man,
so.
there was that was a good number of them. But what I will say is
I
you
was
being
like,
the stand up dude that you were, you could have abused the situation, but you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that kind of goes to the kind of honorable person you are because there were a lot of dudes that showed up to college as dudes do with a girlfriend, and girls too,
yep,
show up with
yep.
a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then that shit never goes right. And I want to say that wasn't you. And you had a long distance girlfriend, like a long distance girlfriend,
Long distance,
probably
baby.
the longest distance you could think to have. So long she didn't even live in the country. You know what I'm saying?
The country, bro. And with
And
them,
my God, and the amount of just sheer like trust and kind of what y'all had for each other, I think was sickly sweet at first, but it started to wear on me. You know what I mean? Because you would be just so true, like no matter what was going on, and early before school started and all the we're at school early and we're having practice and everybody's
yeah,
getting to know each other and you're sweating together, and after that there's gonna be a party at somebody's apartment and we're freshmen, you know what I mean? There's
hey,
gonna be the
bro.
thing going here and there's something over there and we're at somebody's dark house party, plenty of opportunities for
It was
some shit
not.
to kick off. You know what I'm saying? And you always left the way you came.
Hey,
You know
bro.
what I
Them
mean?
the
And I used to be
parties break
like,
a
this
lot
dude,
of
you
relationships.
left the way you came too. And also going, man, I hope I got enough minutes on my you remember those?
Yeah,
The
come.
phone cards? Boy, I remember one of them shits went out on you when you were on the phone, bro. I
Oh
had never
man,
seen you so frustrated in my life. I'm like, I'm buying this nigga a phone card tomorrow. And it's
bro.
not gonna
Remember
be
they
one
used
of
to
the ones
have
he
big
got. I'm gonna
walls.
put like some time on it.
Yeah, bro. Them
You
shits was
know.
expensive, bro. Them shits was expensive
Yeah.
back then. You was making
Yeah,
all these
man.
international calls. I completely forget about that. But you're right though, man. I've seen a lot of relationships end in those house parties, bro. And I'm talking about girlfriend and boyfriend came to college together and was at the same party, but did not leave
That's
together.
the worst. Or did not
Oh
leave
my
together
God.
because once you see some girl up on your dude, then now you get up on some dude, and
And
now somebody done jumped the shark and did something they can't undo.
yep,
You
it was
know,
like that, bro. It was a lot
and
of
now the girlfriend is trying to holler at me, and you mad at me. And I'm like, bro, I didn't have anything to do with this. I don't
yeah,
know nothing
yeah.
about it. I don't know nothing about y'all background. You know, but yeah, I mean, I think the statistic, looking at where we are today, I think it is pretty true. And I think 50% is still pretty decent, given the fact that there's so much technology out there that is taking the place of having to talk to somebody in person. So if you're saying half of the people, half of the time, are still finding themselves in a social situation in person, I think that's still pretty decent considering just how much technology has infiltrated our society. You know what
Man,
I'm
and I
saying? Like,
think it ain't, bro. I think there's some bullshit. I think I almost feel like we need to do timeouts on the computer, bro, because you got to,
oh
like,
yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
like I never want my daughter to meet somebody online that she didn't meet. Like so say for instance, we went to the same school and he didn't approach her till online. I'm okay with that, right? Or you work with somebody and then y'all get cool online and become a thing, right? I'm okay with that. But to say, look, I just met this person solely online and we're going out on a date, bro,
Yeah.
that's
You're not
weirdo
even sure that
vibe.
this is a person that really exists.
Bro, what catfishing is a real thing. But not just that, because you can catfish your personality.
That's
You ain't
true.
gotta see, and that's the
That's
biggest thing,
true.
right? Like, because if I only meet you online and we go out on a date, right? And then we go on to a date and you stay 2 counties over, we're not gonna see each other every day. I'm not gonna see you in enough. As my mom used to say, you need to see a person in all 4 seasons before you decide that you want to be with them. Meaning that you need to see them.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
write that down. I mean, not that I need it anymore. I found my 4 seasons of a person, but I'm gonna use that as if it was my own.
For sure, bro. But like my mom used to say that all the time. Like she like, look, you got to see a person when they at their lowest. You know what I'm saying? You got to see them when they at their highest, when they going through a loss. Cause I'm gonna tell you, bro, a lot of relationships end when you deal with somebody that's going through a loss. They're
A high
completely different.
stressful situation.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, cause man, look, when I was smoking tree like a lot, like I wouldn't known how stressful I could be. But when I stopped smoking, bro, and I would go through something, bro. Like, that shit weighed, bro, because I wouldn't, like, dulling it out no more, you know what I mean? Which I didn't realize how much smoking kinda really leveled me out. I thought I was just getting high, you know what I'm saying? I didn't realize, like, nah, I was really, like, blocking a whole lot of stressful situations and kinda,
Mm,
like, pushing them to the side because I was smoking, which, to be truthful with you, I think it's definitely helped me to improve on, aspects of working and having to deal with working relationships by not smoking anymore because I attack them a little bit different. But yeah, man, like those things, man, because my lady had to tell me, she's like, yo, you pissed as fuck right now. Like you kind of an asshole. And I'm like, for real? Like, I'm not usually an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
it's understanding that, man. So you gotta be able to, if you are not able to be a friend with somebody, to see that outside of what they showing you, you don't know. Cause if I'm in a bad mood, I ain't gonna call you. I'm not gonna get online. I'm not gonna talk to you. So if only time I'm dealing with you is when I'm great, to
You're
me
not
that
getting the full me. Yeah.
no,
And
bro, you
if
know,
you haven't seen somebody like me get upset, then you definitely haven't
you see what I'm
seen me
saying, bro?
yet.
Like, but not just you get upset, bro. Like you have your times where you
But
want
yeah,
to be
the
dark
full
and
me. Yeah, the full
yeah, man.
me. Yeah.
Like, can you handle the part of me that wants to just read and be in my personal space
Or just
for an
yeah,
hour?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
And that's
saying?
gonna be a
Because
lot. Yeah.
yeah, because it took me a while to handle that with my lady, bro. My lady is a not a people's person for real, for real. I was getting on her nerves all the time when we first got together, and she'd be like, damn, give me my space. And then it felt like I got used to the shit and was just like, okay, give me space. Now it's like, where you at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we had to go through all those changes, right? And understanding. So there's an adjustment part of that you want to get in a friendship, bro. You cannot get that online. I find
That's
it
true.
hard, right? Because even if you were, say for instance, you went out and you met somebody at the club, bro, you get to see how they move in public. You get to kind of know what kind of person, first of all, how they dress in public. If they're overdressed, if they're
Mm,
underdressed, you know what I'm
mm.
saying? You get to see that, man. So I'm like, bro, you mean a person online and they're long distance relationship, they stay in Tennessee and you live in Atlanta. Like, no,
Yeah,
man, come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Like you ain't never met this person in person before.
Mm,
Man, come on, man. Now, some of it
that's true.
worked. Some of it worked. But it's just for me, I don't think you can get the genuine aspect of a person that way. I feel like
Yeah.
you miss the nuances of a person.
Yeah, and I would say also, yeah, just to piggyback on that, I think the only real way to do it is if that person is coming to this online situation in earnest, honestly, to find somebody, and then they find somebody who also is there earnestly to find somebody. Because I think for every one of these places that says, "Hey, we are a good, solid place to come and find somebody," there's some dude going, "Oh, I can pick up a girl over here." Even down to Christian mingle. You know what I'm saying? I
Facts.
guarantee you there's some
Facts.
dudes that I can quote a couple Bible verses and I can bag a couple over here too. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm still gonna smash on the first date.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Bro,
So
bro.
I think, if you're going there in earnest, like I feel like those two young folks I met tonight, well, one of them I knew, but the other one is his girlfriend. They both seem like they went there with the good faith to meet somebody and then start seeing them. Because I think, from the way it seemed like once they were sure about this, they chucked the app and was just the two of them. You know what I'm saying? So you
Okay.
don't have this kind of feeling as though they're hedging. They're talking to you, but they could still be up on this app.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Looking for somebody else. Uh, so I think, you have to really kind of, that's where your discernment comes in. And you are like, is this a person who is true, or is this a person who is just trying to, find a date to whatever movie they're going to or something like this, and you have to really figure out if who it is looking for what you're looking for, or if they're, and I think on everything it comes down to that. You need to be not just seeing if they meet with what you think they should look like, because I think that's important too, but you should be saying, hey, you know, is this the kind of person I think I'm looking for? Are they presenting the kind of things that I think the person I'm looking for would present, and have real conversations and try to get that transition to in person to happen as soon as you possibly can. You know what I mean? And not
that's real.
stick to doing online just because it's what's convenient, because whenever you watch those catfish shows, you see, it's like it's always one-sided. You got
Yeah,
this one person that's trying like hell to meet this person, and then the other person's got car accidents and cancer and running out of money, and their phone camera don't work.
it's a
And I'm
lot
like,
of
this 2024, if your phone works, your camera works. Like, what kind of game are you playing?
things.
If you're an idiot that's falling for my camera don't work, how in the hell did he just get this part of the phone to not work, but everything else still works? That's not possible.
Communicate with you.
He's using the phone right now. You say he's using the phone right now, and he can't get his camera to work,
Oh
bro.
man.
You might be dumb. You know what I'm saying? You might be
Yeah.
dumb, and I think you can't count out there might be some dumb in there too.
So
You know,
now the question becomes like, are we at a point are we at a point in the technology that that stuff will kind of level off, and now we're looking at a two system situation anyway, where I can meet a person in person because now people don't exchange phone numbers first; they exchange IGs. So now I met you and I exchanged IGs with you, but even though I still got to get to like your online personality before I decide I want to get serious with you. Is that where we are? Because
yeah,
that's literally what it feels like. Because I'm considered boring on mine. I'm considered like my nephew told me, you don't put enough of your fly shit on there. I said, bro, I don't be wanting people in my life like that. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, I don't, people be like, you don't put your kids on your joint line. I'm like, cause first of all, it's some real weirdos out here, and my page is public because I put business stuff on my page. So I don't put my kids on my page a lot. I don't, man, like, I don't wish my kids happy birthdays. I think I'm gonna start, but that's definitely not something I normally do. And it's genuinely because it's a lot of weird dudes on. It's a lot of people that look on accounts and pull pictures off, and it can be innocent pictures, and they in their heads they can make them not innocent. So I'm just
yeah,
like, dude, I can't.
yeah,
It's the father in me that wants to
hundred
protect
percent.
my kids. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I look at that, man. I'm like, yo, have we reached a point where the technology? Because we could be at a point where the technology dulls out anyway. Like, right? We like Jordans, but our kids are not necessarily Jordan wearers in this era. You know what I mean? Not the same
mm,
as our era was. So
mm-hmm,
it's technology
mm-hmm.
doing that. Is it reaching a point? Is it going to reach a plateau where it's like, nah, man, I want to go back out and meet a person somewhere because we've done this already. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I think you're right. 'Cause everybody's always looking for what that next thing is, and
Exactly.
all trends are cyclical. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So as the chances is that, yeah, this online thing is done to death. It's oversaturated. It's going this way. I'm going, you know what I'm saying? I'm going back out. I'm meeting somebody in person. I'm doing this. I think you're right. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like if the technology kind of has infiltrated our society the way that it has, and it's still 50%, I feel like that's at least saying that there are some people out there who, like you were just alluding to, might be like, all right, I've tried the online thing because that's what was the prevailing thing when they were coming up,
Yeah.
and like, okay, all right, I tried that. It's not quite doing it for me. I'm going back out. I'm gonna go talk to this lady. I'm gonna say what's up to this, dude, whatever the case is, that people are doing. I do think it's gonna swing back at some point.
I
Things
agree.
always do, you know, so I think that it's gonna work out. People, they gonna have to meet for the world to keep turning. It's gonna have to be some kind of a in-person thing, in
Yeah.
order for the world to keep spinning.
Yeah, 'cause
You
your
can't
family
do
gotta meet mine at some point. We can't just,
you got
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
it is, it's just we haven't gotten to the point yet where you can make that work through the computer. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like, or
right.
through a cell phone app or whatever. So the aim is gonna always be driving toward that in person meetup. So
Organic meetups. Okay, okay.
yeah,
I
and
actually
and
like that.
and and if you find that, ladies and gentlemen out there of the viewership, if you find that whoever it is you're talking to on an app is not trying to meet you, that's saying something as well.
That's saying a
If
lot, and
they
if you're not paying
That's
attention to
saying a
that because
whole lot. If it is taking forever and excuse after excuse and this and that, either take the sign that they're not that into you, or they may not be who they say they are. It's time to, believe your own ears, eyes, and common sense. You know what I mean?
yep,
People can
exactly.
rob you of all of those things when they can hide behind a screen or a profile. You have to have that in-person touch, and the only way to hone that is to start meeting people in person.
And
And that's coming from a nervous introvert like myself. You will start to see that the more time you spend talking to somebody, those defenses start to come away on each of you, and you get to have a real connection with a person that is really hard to replicate, you know,
and I
on a device.
and I tell
Because
people this
also
too.
too, you can misunderstand a text
I was
or
just about to say that. I was just about to say
any of
that.
those things.
Yep.
Somebody might not have the same, eye for nuance when you're trying to turn a phrase or use a pun or any of those things. They'll be like, "What was he just saying? Like, what?
Yep.
That was
I mean,
stupid."
and if you don't know how to use grammar, then your tone might not come across in a text message. So I definitely tell people, and to me, this is just something that I tell young folks anyway. Like, look, stop texting, call. Like I tell my daughter this. I'm like, look, if you ain't never talked to him on the phone and all y'all doing texting, I can promise you he texting multiple people. Cause it's easy for me to go back and forth with a whole bunch of people. But when I'm trying to have a genuine conversation and I need to talk to you, I want to talk to you. And this is another thing about text. If you're texting somebody, you give them too long to come up with the correct answer instead of the
Right.
genuine answer. So it's those things right there, man, that really like that's the reason that was a red flag for me, man. And we just hit it all
Mm-hmm.
on the head, bro. Realistically, 45 minutes in, man, this is exactly what I was hoping to get out of this episode. Really, is just an
Yeah.
understanding of where are we going, and what's the real solution in it. And it seems that we're in a place where it's going to be both. It's going to be both. We are in a hybrid world now where
Yeah.
your main part of your communication is text, is now Instagram and it's Facebook, so that is a part of your communication, especially if you're a busy person. But we cannot get away from organic communication. You cannot allow yourself to get away from hearing a voice, speaking to a voice, hearing their tone, meeting with somebody. And the first date doesn't have to be a big date, man. A walk around
Yeah.
the park or a coffee shop just to get to know somebody, man, is much better, especially when you're meeting online, somewhere public, where you can really
Safe.
Yeah, safe, and you get the it's no expectation. If I get to meet you in some jeans and a shirt, you get to meet me in your jeans and your shirt, and we just hit the coffee shop or we just meet at the park and we walk and we talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's a genuine meeting. So I would like to invite you guys to look at that if you're 18 to 25 and make sure that you check in the way that you are meeting people. You definitely
Yeah,
want to
man.
make sure you put yourself in a genuine situation for sure.
Yeah, man. And parks are free. Museums are free.
Free,
Find some
free.
stuff, man. See your city. A lot of times, the same place you've been living in all your life, you'll find that a person hadn't visited the free places. We too busy trying to give up our money and go to places that cost you stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
people ain't been to your local parks. And let me tell you something: as a parks aficionado, somebody cares a great deal about parks. I'm on the Parks Foundation, up in my area as well, and I am, uh proud to say also as being from Atlanta to see how the parks have come up down there too
yeah,
is beyond, man. People go out there, man. Get outside. Talk. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
man.
y'all can remark on how much stuff has changed, how beautiful the scenery is, and guys, be emote, man. Talk about stuff. You don't have to be doggone tough. I know we now it's turned into we giving y'all a little bit of advice, but shoot,
Yeah.
man. It's okay for you to have ideas and opinions and be creative. Everything does not have to be, let me be the toughest guy in the room. Let me be the smoothest, suavest person that you'll ever meet. Just be yourself, man. And,
And if
you
yourself
know,
tell it, learn some jokes. If your
hey, learn
if
some.
you if yourself suck, bro, learn a couple decent jokes, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and yourself might suck. Once
Yeah.
you try yourself out there for real a couple times and it ain't working, yeah, that's a
Learn
good
a couple of
indication that
jokes.
yourself might suck.
Yeah.
You
If
know,
it always ain't
uh,
working, it maybe you need to
no,
cut your hair or something, but learn
yeah,
yourself, you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is get out here and build some confidence, man, and let's get back to it, man, because
go do it, man.
it's more genuine relationships is gonna happen outside of the computer. It's gonna happen on the computer. That's just the way
Yeah,
it goes.
man.
Man, look,
Yeah.
I know we gotta wrap this one up though, bro. It's been a awesome episode, but I do have a
Yes, man.
8 o'clock early in the
Yeah,
morning.
man. Get to it, man. We always said we were gonna keep each other on time, going to where we need to go, and that ain't changed, man.
Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
man. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
build. Let's build. But we appreciate y'all, man. Be good.
And we'll see y'all at another Room 518.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
take care.